YouTube, I got a question for you. What are you waiting for? I'm Josh Sawicki. I'm here. I want to ask you a few questions about why you're procrastinating on things that you need to do in life. Everybody has things that they want to accomplish. They've got goals. They want to, take on the world. They want to be a better person. They have all these things, but they never really know where to start. Do you know where to start? And if you do know where to start, what are you waiting for? Why haven't you made the change? I think we all have this innate ability within us to make these changes, these deep changes that we want to make our lives better. Sometimes we just don't know where to start, and sometimes we just need a push. Well, hopefully I can be that push for you. If you're struggling with anything and you want to make a change, think back about what you really want to do and why you want to accomplish it. And maybe you'll get there one day. What is holding you back from that change? I used to be overweight. I struggled with alcohol. I was not the version of the person that I wanted to be. And so I had to look deep inside myself and determine who was it that I wanted to be? Who was I going to strive for? And I knew that I needed to make these positive changes, and I had no idea where to start. And every time I tried to make a change, it was almost impossible. And so I want to ask why you're waiting. Some of the things that I'm going to be talking to you about are nutrition, exercise, sobriety, divorce, travel, so many more things. So what are you waiting for? Because I'm going to give you a couple of reminders. Don't forget that we're only promised today. We're put on this earth, and the only thing that we have is time. Time is so valuable. Before the creation of the universe, there wasn't even time. There was no space or time. And so we're given time. And what you choose to do with that time is extremely important. You could go and you could actually change the world. You could create an invention that, stops global warming, or is able to create, feed the hunger for long periods of time. You have that change within you, but you only have one chance to do it. And so stop waiting and just start doing it. You never want to look back on life with any kind of regret. What happens if you wanted to start that business? What happens if you never lost that 50 pounds? What happens if you never got clean and sober? What happens if you never started CrossFit? You'll never know because you never did it. And what happens if you get to your deathbed at 120 years old and you regret? Does anybody want to regret anything in life? I don't think so. I know I don't. And it's why I stopped waiting. It's why I finally got sober. It's why I finally lost weight. It's why I'm trying to talk to you today and, share my story and maybe help. It's why I started CrossFit, because I never wanted to look back and say to myself, I wish I'd done that. I never wanted to. And so I stopped. I just stopped waiting and I just started doing. There's no such thing as the perfect moment. There's no such thing as the perfect day. So you have to go make it. A lot of times we put things off because we think it's going to be easier in the future. I'll start on this day, or I'll start on that day. Or if I only did this, I'd be able to do that. It's not true. The only way you're going to be able to get anywhere is just by doing it. So yes, just go make the change and stop waiting. Stop that procrastination. And whatever it is that you want to do, you know what it is. Let's go do it. Now, the reasons that we don't do things are because of a lack of motivation. Take losing weight, for example. It's very hard to start losing weight. Because what's the motivation in it? Okay, it is going to create a healthier lifestyle for us. It is going to help us live a longer life. We'll have a more eventful life. We'll be able to get around easier. We'll be able to travel. But what's the true motivation behind it? If there's nothing that's driving you to lose weight, like if you are not sick, or you're starting to get possibly pre-diabetes or anything along those lines, you might lack the motivation to do it. So just do it. For example, my CPA. I have a CPA And I didn't get it for a very long time. And it's because I lacked the motivation behind it, because I was doing okay in my career. But the motivation, once I finally realized it, was that I could do better in my career if I just finally sat down, studied for the test, and completed it, and could say that I'm now Josh Sawicki CPA. But because I didn't have anything to gain prior to it, because in my mind, my career was going just fine, and I didn't want to sit down and study. I didn't have the motivation for it. So I didn't do it until I finally did, because I got sick of it. And you know what? My career has blossomed since then. It was one of the greatest decisions that I ever made in my entire life. And I regret not doing it sooner. So imagine if there's something that you want to do and you regret it down the line. You don't want to do that. You just don't. Most of the time we wait is because we lack a direction. We just don't know where to start or where to begin. Remember when you were a kid, you'd have like a report that you had to do, and you waited and waited and waited, and then all of a sudden you had to go to the library and find out where all the resources were on the topic. And you could have done that 2 weeks prior, and you would have not been rushing and probably gotten a better grade on the report. Well, life is very similar. As you grow up, nobody's going to tell you what to do. Only you know what you want. Where do you want to achieve in this life? Where do you want to go? Who do you want to be? You can do anything you want to do, within means. I want to fly. I'm never going to be able to fly unless I create a jetpack, which I actually could figure that out. Probably, lowest on my priority list at the moment, but, maybe someday. Who knows? So not having a direction really does create difficulty because we just don't know how to start or where to begin with it. So start talking to people. Ask them. If there's something that you want to figure out in your life, just start talking to other people. Start researching it on the internet. Going into different types of forums or anything along those lines to kind of get a start, just to kind of get your ideas, and then start mapping out or getting an idea in your head on like where you want to go with it. Most of the time we also lack self-control. So if you want to lose weight, it's easier to eat the cookies, or if you want to get sober, it's easier to pick up that bottle than it is to stop eating the cookies or stop drinking out of that bottle. I know for a fact, a lot of the reason that I was overweight was because it was easier to just continue to eat the way that I was eating because I enjoyed it. And because I didn't have to put any thought into it. It didn't change anything in my life and it was just easier. I didn't get sober because, it was easier just to take that drink and get out of my own head than it was to not do it. I enjoyed it and I just didn't want to have to think for the night. So it was easy to pick up the bottle. What's not easy is to say no to that cookie or to say no to that bottle. But what's not easy is what needs to be done. And it's generally the right way to do it. And it's generally the right thing to do. And you always know it. So that lack of self-control, and it's difficult to rein yourself in and to say no. But if you start saying no, it feels good that you finally have that control in your life. It feels good to say no. That cookie, I don't need it. That bottle, I don't need it. It feels really good. It's empowering. You're giving yourself strength. There's also other hindering factors. Mental exhaustion. So rewards that are far in the future, that seem so impossible tasks that our brains just turn them off. I weighed 265 pounds. And I got 265 pounds because I was lazy. Yeah. And my fat soul screamed every day. But, that's in a different video. So because of that impossible task in front of me, I didn't do it because I didn't get the benefit of it right away. And that's another issue within us today, is that we're so used to getting things when we want them. Amazon Prime is a great example of this. Within 2 days, you have something shipped to you and it's just there. We just have a culture of instant gratification. And that's something that we have to change. And that's something you have to change within yourself. Now, if you can't say no to that, then, there's other possibilities. You might have to go into some form of therapy to kind of help you through this and why it's impossible for you to say no. But just remember that if the benefit in the future outweighs the risk that's currently going on, Do it, no matter how much of an impossible task that it seems. Finally, another reason we wait are just demotivating factors. We're human. We have anxiety. We have fears. The fear of failure is a big one. I didn't want to do this YouTube channel because I don't like to fail. I don't like to fail at anything that I do, but I'm a big failure. I fail and I repeatedly fail. But from failure, I learn. And that is why you need to just stop waiting and make that change. You have to just do it, because failing is a good thing. You need to fail. You need to fail because if you don't fail, that means you never tried. And if you never tried, you can never succeed. So, go fail.